Right. So I just want to make sure, just to be very clear, I've just told the boys that my internet is terrible. It's currently down, so I'm turning off my phone. So there's a chance that I'm going to drop off of this. But to be fair, all they really need me to do is just start, and then like, we'll just talk till I'll find out, and I'll be like, oh, this is a 4.5 hour pod, and they've been talking about some fucking Russian 19-year-old left back who's like the next big thing about Barcelona and stuff. But never mind. We'll plow on. Right, so the Euros, very exciting stuff. We are all excited about it, but just like England fans, as soon as the game starts, we'll put our head down and be like, what the fuck's happening? Although I don't understand why England are second favourites. Do you? Anyone? Anyone out there?
Yeah,
No
we're
idea.
always inflated during a big tournament because people back us into favourites. I wouldn't say we're the second best team. Actually, I don't know, actually. Now that you've said that, we might be the second best team.
Look, he's already convinced
definitely-
himself in the matter of 10 seconds. He's already convinced himself.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's ridiculous to say that we're the second best team, but I mean, other than France, no one really sticks out this year, do they? There's a lot of people in that next level down from France.
I think Portugal are a better team than us, unfortunately.
Well, let's go through the list of the top favourites, all right? So France are the favourites to win the tournament. I don't know when these odds will change. They'll probably change tomorrow. But currently, as it stands, France are the favourites at 9-2. England, the next favourites at 5-1. Then you've got Belgium 13-2. Spain at 15-2. Italy 15-2. Germany 8-1. Portugal 9-1. Netherlands 13-1. I just got off some random websites, so it's probably subject to change whichever site.
Portugal have got to be the bet in there.
That's great odds on Portugal. Great odds.
I'm going to confess, I'm actually heavily for me. I've put 30 quid on Portugal, and I've
what were your odds? 9-1, yeah.
Let me double check. I think it was more. I might have got 11s, you know. Or 10.
Last week you said you went heavy on Italy. Have you done Italy and Portugal?
I've gone heavy on both of them. Yeah.
Heavy for Rory is £3. So let's just beat that down.
You don't want to hear my predictions later, then, Rory.
Yeah. Let me just get onto my paddy power. There are other bookies available.
While you do that, Rory, we're going to talk through our favourites for the tournament, our dark horses, so teams that probably you want to look out for or you think are better than what people are saying, our worst contenders. So out of the list I've just given, who are probably aren't as good or as favourite players that are going to let you down, and all the groups. I think we'll do that, and then we might come out with a later pod once the group stages are finishes outside of a big one and talk more about that. So. Go on, Mark. While you were chomping at the bit, who are your favourites to go, and who's your teams that you're not looking forward to?
So, I don't know if any of you have been on the All Talk Drive, but you might have seen my Euro Selector, where you can put in all the results, and it will
Euro Selector.
And then
you could have told us, Mark. I've been looking for one of those.
Well, I only done it in the last couple of hours.
What's the Euro Selector?
So I went through all the group stages and put in the scores that I think it could be. And then it works out the tables and then tells you who's the bottom two of the third places who won't come through. You can do it for the knockout stages, but I haven't done it yet. But yeah, if going through it, who do I think is going to win it? I'm going for Belgium. I think Belgium's going to win it.
Big shout. Even though they're favourites, big shout.
I'm going Belgium to win it. What are we going through all of them now? Because I've got more here.
Go on, you go through what you want to say. Go through what you want to say, and we'll rip that to pieces real quick.
Yeah, so Belgium, I think's going to win it. My dark horse I don't know if you can call him a dark horse, but seeing as they're so far down,
I think dark horse is fair enough. Dark horse is kind of like, you know, they're either a good team that's going to win or a not so good team that's somewhere in the middle. So.
Yeah, I've picked two. I've picked two. So I've got a dark horse to win it is Italy. And a dark horse who, let's say, will do a Wales, or like what Wales did in 2016. I've gone for Turkey. So they're the two that I'm thinking, like, because I don't think Turkey will win it, but if Turkey get into the semis, that's a big prediction, I'd say. So
I think based on everything that we've probably all been looking at, we've all been kind of looking around punditry and stuff that you might know. Turkey seems to be pretty much everyone's outsiders or dark horses do pretty well in this tournament. I don't know if they'll be they'll do like a Greece. Do you know what I mean? But it just seems on everyone's cards they'll do all right.
You know what I actually did this morning because the odds were just too good. At 50-1, Yazizi to be top goal scorer. I was like, that's going to be worth a couple of quid. 50-1, and I'll tell you why. Because
even 35-year-olds.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
The man's just scored coming off the back of the best season he's ever had.
Can I just say, so I think it was David James put down. What was his name again?
Yazizi.
New young star. He put him as because he's new to the tournament.
No,
you're
thinking of Burak Yilmaz.
Oh, I'm Yilmaz.
He's the striker. Yazizi plays in behind him. But
anyway, the point I was making. 24? Yeah, the point I'm making is that the reason I picked Turkey, funnily enough, as a dark horse. But you guys will know we talked about the Italy-Turkey game in one of our clips. It's coming up, and I'm a big backer of Turkey. But the thing that got me when I was looking at it earlier is that when you actually look at the tournament. So Mark, you've worked out who goes where. I spent ages trying to work that out. What I can't understand is how they've worked it out because it seems so unfair. If you come second in Group A, you can basically get all the way through to the semi-final. You don't have to play a top 10 team. Okay, it's ridiculous. Whereas in our group, if you come first or second, you're guaranteed to at least play a Portugal, a France, a Spain, a Germany, or something in like the last 16. But someone like Turkey, they can conceivably come second in their group. They'll end up playing a Denmark, probably a Russia, maybe Ukraine, whatever. They can get all the way through to the semis without any half decent or top 10 European ranked team. So I completely agree with Mark. That's why everyone's backing them. It's got the easiest run basically in the tournament.
Well, similar to you, Dan. So similarly to you, Dan. Sorry, and to you, Mark. I think you said I've got Italy as my team to win, and one of the reasons is when looking at it, Italy are in a group with which they probably should be winning, which is with Switzerland, Turkey, and Wales. If they win that group, it means that in the next round they'll either play Ukraine, Austria, or North Macedonia. So they've not, on paper, they're not really going to be playing against any decent teams until after that stage. So, that could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. Could it be complacency, or could it be that they can have a lot of rotation, not have to play their hardest and really start bringing it up later on in the tournament? One of the advantages that they have, and one of the advantages where I've gone through all the groups and who's going to win it, is basically who's got home games. Like there's a few nations that have a number of home games. And, even in the Premier League where it's like, a few miles down the road, they talk about home and away teams. Imagine having to fly all over Europe just to play in these different games, and you have teams that actually can stay at home. That must be a huge advantage. But maybe I'm just guessing there.
No, I agree. I absolutely. There's Spain, Italy, England as examples are going to all have home games, which is hugely beneficial. Turkey,
problem with England fans if they boo their team.
Well, yeah. But Turkey, the Baku games will feel like home games for them because in Azerbaijan they're just over the water, and they're allowed like 50,000 fans at Azerbaijan Stadium, and they'll all be Turkish fans. So it'll feel like a home game for Turkey when they play their group stages anyway.
Rory, who you got for favourites and dark horses or outsider type stuff?
So I've got 3 as well. I've got a favourite, a dark horse, and an outsider. My favourite are France, reigning world champions, like quality in every position. Also, I think they could field a second or a third team probably that would probably get to the semis as well, just from players that aren't involved for them. So that kind of goes without saying. My dark horses are Italy. That's why I'm wrecking my Italian shirt that arrived this morning. Once the tournament starts, it'll be going away into the draw until England go out, and then it will be coming back on. Like I've said in our preview that we did earlier this week, that you can also find on the All Talk YouTube channel. But I think they've got quality in every position. I think the one thing I worry about with Italy is that Ciro Immobile, who is their main goal scorer, he's a very hot and cold player. He could either explode and get 8 goals in 6 games, or he could do absolutely nothing and end up getting replaced by Chiesa or the young lad from, I think it's Torino, who they've also taken. So that's my worry about them, and their old centre backs as well. I mean, Chiellini and Bonucci are 37 and 34. respectively. 10 years ago, two of the best players in the world in their position. Now I'm not really sure. But like you said, they only need to win 3 hard games. Once they get into the quarterfinals, if Bonucci and Chiellini can roll the years back for a week, basically, because they'll play weekends, midweek, and then a final will be on a Sunday. You've only got to ask them to roll the years back for a week, and they could be serious contenders. They could end up winning it. So that's why I've backed Italy. Also,
you say for a week. When you're older, that recovery ain't the same. So they'd be better off rolling it back for a month because they need some space in between.
Yeah, that's true. But then you don't know how much. I mean, there could be a chance that they win their first 2 games and then they get a nice rest in the second group game and they get a week and a bit off. I don't know quite how the schedule falls, but I just also think they've got a plethora of midfielders that are all different styles as well. They've got the likes of Bonucci. They've got the likes of Barella, who can put a foot in and can arrive late in the box. They've got the likes of Locatelli and Verratti, who can put their foot on the ball and pass you to death. And then they've got Jorginho, who will sit just in front of the back four and dictate the tempo. So I just really like Italy's team. The one thing I do worry about is the lack of pace, especially in wide areas, and the fact that they're old up front and old at the back, which is not always great. And then for my rank outsiders, I've actually gone for Ukraine. I think they've had some really good results in qualifying. They've got a young, hungry team. They've got some very underrated players, actually. They've got a player called Tizankov, who plays on the right wing for Dynamo Kiev. They've got Michaelenko, who's a central midfielder. Obviously, is it Andriy Yarmolenko who plays for West Ham? Is his first name Andriy or is it something else? Yarmolenko from West Ham, and then obviously Alexander Zinchenko of Man City. A really good core of young players around the age of 22, 23, 24, obviously led by Yarmolenko, who's around 30. And I've also backed their striker, not Miranchuk, let me just get his name up. I've backed their striker as an outsider for top scorer, because always gives... Go on.
I was going to say, I'm with you with Ukraine. Looking at my predictor, I have them to get knocked out in the quarters to Turkey. So
okay.
If it goes how I think Turkey beat Ukraine in the quarters.
Yeah. Well, I've got Yaremchuk. I had £4.38 left in my account. I had £2.24 each way at 80-1. So if Yaremchuk bangs in a few goals, I could be on for 214 quid.
He's had a good season in the Belgium league, but yeah. I'm not sure he's going to get top goal scorer in the Euros. But
So you went big earlier. I put a big bet on my winner for the tournament, and that is Italy at 8-1. I put all the money I had left in my account, which was £45.
What's that payback?
£405 or something like that.
Knowing your luck recently,
you know how I do. Yeah, exactly. You know that. So basically, Italy's won, innit? We might as well just end this right now.
I'm just pleased no one on this pod mentioned, or we don't talk about England.
Not allowed to talk about it. Dark horses. They're dark horses for the tournament, though, aren't they?
No, we're not.
Mark, the thing is, right, I think it's better off not talking about England because, being an England fan, and I might as well ruin it as well, doing the clips we did earlier, you talk about England and everyone just gets super negative instead of being positive and putting that positive energy out there. So you might as well just keep England quiet. Don't say a word. Yeah. Don't say anything bad. Don't say anything good. Just hope that we do well and see how it goes. But do you know what? I actually would, before we go to like the worst contenders and players of the tournament, real talk, I would like us to do a decent chat on England, seeing as we're all English, I think, although some might argue that. It is hard to be an England fan because it seems to be a lot of disappointment in our lifetime, at least. We had a good World Cup. We in first 10, 15 minutes because of that free kick, and it kind of went downhill from there. We haven't beaten. Oh, it's just gone. Is it gone bad?
No, you're good. Carry on. You're back.
I'm just laughing because it's just as you start talking about England and like the sadness of it, it's like the sound sort of followed you, sort of getting a bit quiet and slow. And,
it started to get a bit emotional when you spoke about England, mate.
You just needed some music in the background and it would have been perfect.
I guess I get, yeah. I mean, I try to be a positive person and try and build it up, but it is because there's a different expectation, isn't it? You can't be biased towards it. You want England to win, but you just feel like if it's less than the tournament win, you're going to be disappointed to a degree. England do have a good side. I think my biggest worry is who is Southgate actually going to pick, and that's part of the problem. Oftentimes you're like, well, why haven't the manager picked this player? If he starts players like Sterling and Rashford, I think we're going to have a real tough time. If we start players like Grealish and even Saka to a degree, I know he's still young, but pick these players that are on form and had a good season. I would prefer that. Don't shift in Henderson and Maguire if they're not quite fit yet. So I think the biggest trouble that they might have is that Southgate might lean towards his tried and tested, even though they're not quite in form or fit, instead of actually going for some of the players that may not have as many caps, but seem to have had a good season. What do you think?
Well, there's news coming out today, this afternoon, that Southgate's going to be doing a back five, and it's going to be Luke Shaw, left centre back, Stones, and then Kyle Walker. That's the back three. So immediately you look at that and you think you start filling in the holes. He's obviously going to have Declan Rice, probably Henderson or Calvin Phillips. He's then going to have, I guess, Chilwell and whoever else on the right wing, on right back. That's basically, you've got no players left. If you put Kane in, he's definitely, as you said, he's going to play Rashford or whoever, and then there's no space for Foden and Saka and Grealish, and there's no space for any people like that because he's going to shut up shop, play defensive. I'm the same.
Yeah, but I also don't think Stones, Shaw, and Kyle Walker is a defensive setup.
No, but I think it's got calamity written all over it.
It's got calamity. It's
back three, yeah.
But I think that's his approach.
Pickford in goal.
But that's it. Like, we're going to have to just score more than the other team.
How bad does Tyrone Mings feel if Luke Shaw is that they've got no centre backs and Tyrone Mings is the only guy and they're starting Luke Shaw and Kyle Walker at centre back?
Tyrone Mings must be buzzing because he's there. He's there.
I think I know why Southgate's done it, and my theory, if he does go like this, obviously we don't know for sure. But my theory is that centre backs in a three, the one thing they hate is getting pulled out into wide areas. If you're on the right or left hand side of that three as a centre back, the one thing you don't want to do is be pulled out wide and be matched up against a tricky winger as a centre back. So I think Southgate's probably thinking, if I play two fullbacks in the wide centre back position, they won't have as much of a problem going out wide and going 1v1 against a tricky winger as, say, a Harry Maguire would. Like a player like Maguire with that skill set, the last place he wants to be is down by the corner flag, matched up with, a Dries Mertens or a Lorenzo Insigne. Whereas I think the likes of Shaw and Walker have done that pretty much for their whole career. So that's the thinking about it. The issue is if a team plays two big strikers that are used to playing through the middle up top against a centre-back and two full-backs, I think that could be calamitous. I don't know what you guys think.
I guess if he decides to play someone like Declan Rice, I can't think of any of the other midfielders that might feel as comfortable when those right and left centre back types go out wide, that they're going to have that midfielder drop down into the centre back position and help cover there. I don't know if there's anyone that you guys can think of outside of Declan Rice that could probably be suited.
No, just right.
Only Declan Rice.
Eric
Higher.
I'd rather not, so that means there's going to be a lot of pressure on Declan Rice this tournament to stay fit and probably play. We might see him playing pretty much every single game going, right?
This lineup, we got to remember our match day 1 and 2 lineups could be very different because of Maguire's not being fit. So I get what Rory says about the left and right back getting pushed wide. I don't think the fear is two big strikers. Like, that's a bit old school why they don't play fight. Yeah, I think the issue is more when when that ball does come in, centre backs are better at reading that position. How many times does the ball go to the back post and you see the left and right back is out of position, or the striker gets there before them? So it wouldn't surprise me if the goals come more that Luke Shaw or Kyle Walker follows that guy out, but that guy still gets a cross in to the back post, and then the other side is the person who switched off rather than the one who got dragged out, because centre backs just have that nature of knowing.
Centre backs are better in the air. They're the best players in the air on the pitch. That's why they get sent forward to corners.
Yeah, even positioning. So
Danny,
it's a suggestion. We don't know that's the formation. I would have bet good money that Gareth Southgate will go back to a back five because he's not played it at all for years. since the World Cup. He's not tried it in any warm-ups, and he's not played his first team yet. So he's guaranteed to try something brand new.
Dan, out of those top teams that I said earlier, where do you think England ranks in there? Because I'll say it again: France, England, Belgium, Spain, Italy, Germany, Portugal, Netherlands. I feel like you might put them dead last.
No, not at all. Not at all. For me, I think I know Mark. You didn't even ask me who I picked to win, by the way. But I know you. Mark
Please
picked
go with it.
Belgium. But for me, France are so far ahead of everyone else in terms of their talent pool and their squad on paper. They're so far ahead. They have to win it. I mean, anything but a win is massive failure. I think England's squad on paper, and I'm saying on paper because, as I said, it's slightly different when you actually play, is not miles away. You look at the Germany squad, they're very weak in defence, just like we are. You look at the Netherlands squad, they're an absolute total mess. That Belgium squad is not strong. We've talked about that in the past. I know you think they're going to win, Mark, but they've taken 5 centre-backs. 4 of them are over 35, and they play 5 at the back. What happens if one gets injured? Like, they've not thought this through.
Yeah,
so I do worry about some of those squads, but Portugal, I think are a better side.
The reason I think Belgium are strong is they announced De Bruyne's going to be fit for the tournament. They said he's not going to play the first game, but he'll come back. I think Lukaku is my tip for top goal scorer. They've got a young player who plays for Rennes. Is it Doku? Something like that.
Yeah, Jeremy Doku. He's a good player, but will he play? I don't even know if they'll play.
He won't start. They'll have their usual starts, but like they've got talent off the bench. And France won the World Cup, but that semi-final against Belgium, you saw how wafer thin the reality between those two teams is. That semi-final was really the final. Whoever they faced out.
History, like how often does a team go from a World Cup to a Euros and a World Cup, like history-wise? We've had it a few times.
In our lifetime.
Spain did it.
Yeah, but it's not an easy thing to do. So for me, I just think that I don't know. I think it's just a difficult
scary
thing.
The scariest thing is in 2018, France won the World Cup basically in second gear. They had a really easy run. Other than that Belgium game, it was really easy. They won in second gear. Giroud, I don't think, scored a single goal. They won the World Cup.
I think Uruguay gave them a good game. Uruguay gave them a good game in that World Cup.
Uruguay. All right, they had some games, but what I mean is, it wasn't a difficult World Cup for them. They won it at pretty much a canter. This is a better team. This is a team now with Benzema potentially. I know walked off injured earlier in the week, but I think he'll be back. This is a team with Kante still at the top of his game, with Benzema now there, and Mbappe a few years older and now proving it at the top level. Like, this is a team with ridiculous talent that has now got better. And so to say that they probably they won't win it because how often does a team go from Euros to World Cup? I think they're so dominant right now. They're so far ahead of other European teams in terms of their quality that they have to win it.
Well, they're favourites for a reason. And I put them favourites because of Kante. I think
more than that, mate.
Yeah, but I look at Benzema and I'm like, is Benzema an upgrade to a 2018 Griezmann? And I'm like, no.
But they can play together.
He's not a replacement. Griezmann's still going to play.
He'll play with Giroud. He'll be an upgrade to Giroud.
But Giroud's brilliant at I think Griezmann had a great tournament because of Giroud. I think it's foolish to think you could swap Giroud and Benzema. They're not alike for like. So
maybe part of it's Mark, because I'll let it out earlier that my player of the tournament I've got down is Mbappe, and he might be the best player in the tournament. And if you've got Kante and you've got someone like Mbappe who's just an absolute superstar and is only growing, only getting better. Plus experience, like we said, Pogba. I mean, come on, as a Man United fan, you must be able to sing his praises. Talking about it, kind of seems like everyone's just got bad centre backs, or not the best, outside of Italy. But they've got great centre backs. That's the difference.
Yeah,
they're great everywhere. Funnily enough, I actually picked Mbappe for the golden ball, as it were, the golden boy, whatever they call it. The player of the tournament. But I think I picked him because
he's young boy of the tournament.
Well, I picked him because he doesn't have to be the best player in the tournament for all the fans and all the pundits to give him player of the tournament. Because
Messi in 2014.
Because don't get me wrong, he's amazing. I do think he's amazing. He's up there and he's the next level down from the rest. And he will go on to win Ballon d'Ors and do everything else. He's still really young. But because of who he is, because of the name, because of the
16 and a half.
Well, because of the expectation, he only has to have a pretty good tournament. And people are going to blow him out of the water. Like, this is the great, and if they win, and he has any few decent games, he's winning player of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting compared to Pele in the last World Cup, and I know he scored that great goal against Argentina, but come on, to compare him to
and we
Pele
all know.
after...
I mean, we're all in agreement in it, Mark. Pele's the best footballer that's ever lived, so that's high praise. We all know that's true.
I did put Kante as a close second for my player of the tournament, though, funnily enough. So
yeah. Do you know, I couldn't put Kante because I think it was just like you said. It's not if France win, you know, even though Kante is going to be the best player probably for them, he probably is their best player, right? They're not going to be Kante. They're going to be Mbappe or
they have 5 players that could potentially be their best player.
Yeah.
From Griezmann to Pogba to Benzema to Mbappe to Kante. That's like 5 players that could all potentially win player of the tournament if things go right for them.
Did you say your dark horses, Danny?
So mine was Turkey. France are my favourites to win it, without doubt. And funnily enough, looking at top goal scorers, I've actually a punt at 22-1 on Griezmann. I was looking at some of his stats.
Lovely.
The guy scores really regularly for France. He scored 4 in his last 5. He scores more than 1 every 3 in his entire career for France. And the way they set up now, he's playing almost like a 10. He's playing in behind 2 up front now with Benzema up there. So he seems to be getting all the opportunities. So that's my sort of sideways shout.
He'll take pens for them as well.
Give an outsider?
Yeah.
Can I give an outsider? Well, one to watch. They're not going to win, but I think Scotland might do really well. 1, because they've got all their matches at home. 2, I think the group. If you win the group, you seem to be in a worse position. So if you're like 2nd or 3rd, you'll be in a better position, like I said earlier. I think just getting out of the group stages of them is going to be a massive achievement. Although, yeah, the worst 3rd it seems to be a bit of a pretty praise kind of one. I'm not so sure about that. So, but I do think Scotland, especially because they have good players like Danny's John McGinn and I've forgotten his name. My boy McTominay and Tierney.
Did you hear what Andrew Robertson did today? So Andrew Robertson's captain, and no. I mean, what a captain! When everyone turned up at the hotel today, all the Scotland team, they all got together and turned up. He bought a gift for every single person in the squad, and it was like a box, and it had like AirPods, it had FIFA in it, it had like loads of Brewdog beer, and it had Scottish
6-pack
biscuits and all sorts of beer. It had all sorts of stuff.
He's knocking out beer in 2021. What a legend!
Well, Brewdog's Scottish, isn't it? And so he basically got a bunch of Scottish stuff, but he's got every single person got an individual package. And they were doing some of the press conferences earlier. They were saying, "What a man! Like out of his own pocket, out of his own thing, he went and sorted it all out and organised it for them." When they all turned up, and they were like, "It just because there's a lot of youngsters in that squad that have never been to a tournament, and they were like, it just felt special. It feels like it's an amazing thing that we're all doing." So I mean, I don't think they're going to go that far, but I wish them well, and I think what a great thing for a captain to do. That's just quality.
Yeah, I wish him well as well.
I just got quickly do the top worst of the top contenders. I'm only going histrionics here. I described before that Belgium are almost like England 2.0 when they had their golden generation. So because Belgium seem to be constantly disappointing themselves and probably their country, probably got Belgium fans sort of waiting, oui, this is terrible. I don't know what language they speak. But
that was French.
I ain't got a clue. They speak French. They half French, half German, innit?
And Dutch.
Half French, half Dutch.
Half Dutch. There you go. What do Dutch people say? No. I don't know.
Nay is Dutch.
Nay. Just for that fact alone, I'm just going to put them as my worst of the top contenders because also I'd love to look back and see how often the ranked number 1 team wins. How often do you think that happens?
Not very.
I don't know because the rankings are so shit that it's.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Chris meant betting odds.
No. The betting odds are down. I'm talking about the FIFA rankings.
Yeah, because they're number 1. Right?
I mean, Argentina were number 1 for pretty much the whole of the 2000s and didn't win a thing. Oh, they won an Olympics. Sorry, they won an Olympics.
Yeah. Just saying that alone, you're like, well, they're not going to do very well.
So my winners are your disappointment.
Definitely.
So we covered all bases because I
You picked France, let me guess, as your disappointment mark.
My big call is Portugal, and I've got Portugal as my 3rd place that won't make it.
Ooh,
and
wow.
I've got a Portugal won't win a match.
Oh, wow. One match.
They'll draw with Hungary and lose to
They'll draw with Hungary, and I think they'll draw with France. and
I
they'll go up.
wonder how much money you'd get on that. I wonder if you can do an
Mark.
accumulator on that.
What's the rationale between them not winning the match? Is it that
How-
Hungary?
Hungary are not as bad as people think. They're also at home against Portugal in the first game of the tournament. We know the first game teams are up for it. They're fully fit. Hungary at home.
I love it.
That's
I
not.
love it, Mark. I love it. I love it all.
That's not an easy win. And then Portugal draw with Hungary. They know they have to win.
This is the type of content we need.
Yeah, Portugal then
it's so unlikely.
No, Portugal draw with Hungary, then they have to beat Germany or France. Already knowing that
they could very well beat Germany, though. Like Germany's not going to be that strong.
This is not a good. Yeah. This is not a good.
I've got them drawing with France, losing to Germany. Like I can't even believe none of us have mentioned Germany. Like there's certain things when big tournaments come around, you need to pull out Italy and you need to pull out Germany. And say it doesn't matter what's going on.
It's because they've got Timo Werner as their striker, and I've had a real disappointment with him this year.
But we've seen how important as a striker he is, like how much chaos he creates. So although he misses chances,
pacey as well. Timo Werner,
Gnabry and Sane are pretty pacey as well.
I'm actually disappointed none of us have mentioned Germany because every time a World Cup comes around,
talk about him then.
Pluck out teams who always turn up in tournaments, and like Italy are one, Germany are one, like. You don't see. You see France. International is a bit different to like club. I always say when the club managers leave and they fall apart, but international is a bit different. You don't really play for the manager as such.
I think there's a lot of people questioning Germany and rightly questioning this Germany side because they had nowhere near the strength of the Germany side that we've seen in the past. Like they really aren't. Like you match them player for player against England, and you'd sort of go, oh, actually. We could probably take them. I wouldn't mind it. We're both pretty weak in defence. Maybe, we've got better striker.
We've said that for 21 years and they still beat us every time.
They'll beat us, right? If we play Germany, they'll beat us because it's Germany and it's the Euros and we're basically doing Euro 96 all over again. But the point is that...
Oh, go on, you finish.
Well, the point is that I think first of all, with Hungary, the whole thing with Hungary is that they've lost their star man. He's gone back home injured. So that's a problem. That's a massive problem for them. I don't see anything in their squad, but maybe some I don't. But with Portugal, the thing I can't believe no one's talking about, and they're out at 9-1 to win this tournament. But they've got Ronaldo, they've got Bruno, they've got unbelievable players, and they've got Ruben Diaz, they've got Cancelo, they've got Jota, exactly. They've got Bernardo Silva. They've got unbelievable talent in this squad. It's like unbelievable talent.
Yeah.
I will say about Portugal, they don't have a ball winner in the middle of the park. They're going to play William Carvalho, who's a tidy player, but he's neat, tidy, can pick a pass, but ain't a ball winner. They're going to play either Ruben Neves or João Moutinho, who again neat, tidy passers, but aren't ball winners. I think they'll dominate the ball against Hungary, but I think against a team that sets up the counter, there's no one that's going to win the ball back, and that's where I feel Portugal will come on. Even though I have backed them.
And going back to like the whole point of home advantage and away advantage. Some teams have been screwed over in this. Portugal were meant to be a host nation. Lisbon obviously pulled out. But actually the way the group stage
because of all the English people went over to Portugal and then COVID went up.
Yeah. But then so Portugal have to face Germany in Munich and Hungary in Budapest. So only France are they playing on their neutral venue. And so like Portugal have been dealt the group of death, and then even the weak team they have to face away. And then the second week, like you'd say France is the strongest in that group. They play them on neutral turf. The next two, they have to face away. So I feel like Portugal have been dealt a very unfair hand when it comes to the group stage.
Although imagine on a away day in Budapest, June, sun's out, evening game, drinking in some square in your shorts from 11 in the morning. It'd be absolutely brilliant.
Standing in a fountain with your flag.
Falling in a fountain. Chris pissing in a doorway. Me throwing up over my trainers. Absolutely amazing.
While you think that Belgium, Chris, are going to flop, I'm still surprised. No one's talked about Netherlands yet. And I just want to talk a little bit about what I think is a car crash waiting to happen. I'm really excited to watch the Netherlands because I said this to you guys last week, whenever it was, the under-21 side that just got beat by Germany and didn't win the under-21s Euros. That would give this this Netherlands team a real good game, and I'm pretty sure they beat them most times they played. This is a really poor Netherlands side. This is a side that doesn't have Virgil van Dijk. Van der Beek's now just gone home injured. But the thing that no one is talking about is Frank de Boer is their manager. Like, this is a guy who got sacked 3 times in 4 years. He got 5 games at Palace, got 14 games at Inter Milan. He went to Atalanta and finished second bottom in the MLS with them, and then got given the Netherlands job. What? Who's given this guy a job? Who's allowing this guy to manage a football club?
When you're a great player, people will give you jobs. You get jobs
he's
when
got
you're
the
a great
worst
player.
managerial record. And there's like all week, or the last 2 weeks, there's stuff coming out. The players are unhappy. There's infighting. They don't like the formations. And the best thing is his press conference last week. And they're saying to him, you know, you picked your squad and you obviously you like playing with wing backs, and you picked no right wing back. And he's going, oh yeah, no, I have. I've picked Quincy Mengen, I think his name is, from FC 20. So he'll play right wing back. And they're like, no, you haven't picked him. He's at home. He's not in the squad. And it was like this awkward silence in the press conference. And you're like, you don't even know your own team. This guy is useless. And I can't wait for the car crash that's going to be in there.
Yeah, I must admit,
absolutely quality.
And I'm very impressed he got an Italian team to finish second bottom in the MLS. That's what I thought.
Atalanta and Atlanta, two
the miracle work ethic.
Yeah. What I saw this morning actually was funny. So obviously Van der Beek's gone, and Van der Beek's a really important player for them as well. He's gone back injured, so they've now got a 25-man squad. And UEFA have said you can get one more if you need. He's like, nah, it's all right. We'll just stick with 25. You still got no right wing back. Just bring someone in.
Can I just go back? Can I just go back to Germany, who I also think will be a disappointment. But what I will say is this is probably the lowest rated German side going into a tournament since 2002.
Rank them from 1 to 9.
Nah. The worst 3 are Belgium, Holland, and Germany. That's as far as I'm going.
Do you remember 2002? They got to the final. 2002,
they got to the final.
Yeah,
they had no star quality at all. They had an unknown striker by the name of Miroslav Klose, who I think ended up winning the Golden Boot. They had Carsten Janker playing up front with him, a big, bald, useless lump. Think Olivier Giroud without any of the ability. I think he made 48 appearances for Germany. I think he played 40-odd games for Germany and scored 1 goal in like 10 years. And a like 20-year-old Michael Ballack or like 23-year-old Michael Ballack dragged them all the way to the final. So my point, although I don't rate Germany, is write off the Germans at your peril, because when you least expect it, out of chaos comes positivity. And, you know, we saw it in 2002 with Germany. In 2006, the Italians went and won the lot off the back of a match-fixing scandal with a load of their players being banned, being relegated to Serie B, and then they come out and win the World Cup. So, yeah, write them off at your peril, although I do think they are crap.
I don't write them off. The reason Holland we haven't really spoke about is because I just don't rate them that highly. Like, I know they're in the top 8 bet-ins, and that's probably reputation and name.
That's because they're the Dutch, yeah.
Yeah, I don't rate them. So them having a not great tournament wouldn't. They'll get out the group, which is why I think Portugal, for me, is the one that will surprise people, because I don't think they will.
I don't think Netherlands get out the group.
Well, have you guys got at least the top 2 teams that are coming out of each group?
Yeah, I have. Do you want me to go first?
Go on then. Let's do Group A. Who's everyone's got for Group A? I think that's pretty easy.
Oh, I'm going back to front.
I've got
Group A. I've got Belgium.
How is that back to fun? How did you learn to do the alphabet?
I had the groups in front of me, but I was looking at Belgium.
From Enfield Education.
I was looking at the France-Germany group, which is Group F. So I had to scroll up. So Group A, unsurprisingly, I have Italy and Turkey. Italy 1, Turkey 2.
Does anyone have anything different?
No, do you know what? Switzerland are decent, but I've got Wales as my non-top 8 disappointment. I think they're gonna get battered at all 3 games and go home.
Whipping boys, agreed.
Yeah, I actually wrote that down. Whipping boys. That's on a different podcast, but yeah.
Group B is a good one. Group B is a flip of a coin, you know.
Group B has got Belgium, Denmark, Finland, and Russia. I think even though I have Belgium not doing so well, they'll get out of their group, right?
Yeah. I don't think they'll win it.
I've got Denmark going second.
I've got Denmark second.
Home fixtures.
You lot, no love for Russia.
No.
No, I've got. Actually, I haven't. Russia and Portugal are my two that don't make it. So no.
I've got.
no love
I
for
think
Russia.
I think Russia could win that group.
With Russia, was it Russia with no love?
Russia without love.
Russia,
Yeah.
no love.
Without
no
love.
love for Russia. I think Russia can win that group. Denmark are always hard to beat, so they can come second. And the Belgians are going to implode.
Yeah, like
Does anyone know anything about Finland?
So I was just going to talk about Finland because Finland are by
Where
far
are you
and away
now?
the worst team in the
they
tournament.
got
Like, we
that
talk
striker
about
for sell.
so the thing with Finland is so they haven't won an international game of football in nearly a year.
How did they get in?
I have not. Well, because
The Nations League. They
the
finished
qualifiers were so long
in
ago.
the group, but the Nations League, I think.
The qualifiers were so long ago. Anyway, the point is, Finland are a bad side. They're the worst side without doubt in the tournament. However, they have Teemu Pukki. And Teemu Pukki has the same scoring record as Finland than people like Griezmann have for France and others. He scores a lot of goals for Finland. And the one thing we all know you need to get out of leagues and to not finish last is to score goals. So they're so reliant on Teemu Pukki. If he scores some goals, they stand a chance. If he doesn't,
Have they got
then
any
they're
other
going
household names other than
run
Teemu
last.
Pukki? Have they got any other household names that we know?
I know.
So they're like basically like
Mark
in
can
Iran
look that up.
or like if New Zealand was to qualify for the World Cup, they're like that sort of like
So Rory,
always getting it.
you got Russia finishing second in the group.
No, I think Russia win it. Denmark finish second.
No Belgium.
No Belgium.
Oh,
No Belgium. I
that's a
think
bigger
golden
call than my
generation.
Portugal one.
Top
Golden
podcast in here.
generations. Golden generations go out one of two ways.
I love
They
it.
either win. They either
In a
win
ball
at
of
their
fire.
peak,
Yeah.
or they go out in a calamitous. I mean, I'm talking England 2010.
Rory, do you know what your name is from now on? Skip Duffy. Love it.
Why? Can I
Just-
skip from one
if
subject to
anyone-
another?
No, Skip Bayless. You're Skip
Oh,
Duffy.
skip back. Yeah, all right. All right. No, golden generations either go out one way or the other. They either win at their peak, like a Germany did, or like an Italy did, and then crash out in the next tournament, or like England, they never even reach their peak, and then they go down in a ball of flames. I'm talking France 2010, where the players refused to train, or England 2010, where we barely scored a goal, and then
I was gonna say
celebrated when Jermaine
2008,
Defoe
where we didn't
scored
even
in the
get it.
last group game, like we'd won the whole thing, and then got battered by Germany. Greece didn't even qualify for 2006 after they'd done something. I just think this German side's golden generation is going to go down as a bunch of flops for never actually winning anything. I think,
Definitely.
yeah, you're going to see them look old because they
Group
are great.
D.
And I want go on.
Group C, I've got North Macedonia finishing. No, I haven't. I've got Netherlands and the Ukraine.
I got Ukraine top, Netherlands second.
I have got Netherlands second, but on joint points, so they're only just
same.
going through. So they're like only just, and then they're going to get battered in the next round. But I do think Ukraine win this group, and I actually think fairly reasonably as well.
You know what?
Macedonia
Anyone got a
one's-
betting site open? Let's see what the odds are on Ukraine to win that group. Because I reckon
I've got
might get
Ukraine finishing top on, I don't know what, because alphabetically it should be. Yeah, I don't know why.
It'd be goal difference.
Oh, in this thing, do you input your own scores? Is that what this is?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
that's what I've done. Yeah.
I
It'd be goal
thought
difference.
I thought it's like some algorithm thing that you've just got off the internet.
No, I just put in the scores for the group stages.
You can actually do it on the UEFA website. If you're on the UEFA website, it's called Predictor, and you just guess. You can just put in and automatically.
But
then
it,
happens to
yeah,
the
but it
knockout.
didn't tell you because I
All this
wanted to find out.
All this research I've been doing for the Euros to get top content.
Yeah, because I find the third place playoff, like the fact two don't qualify, quite odd. So
Yeah.
Group D, that's England's group. We've got
skip it.
Croatia, Czech Republic. Am I skipping?
No, you're fine.
So we've all got England top 9 points, massive goal difference. Yeah.
Yeah, going out the next round.
13-0 goal difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
they're not going to concede one goal all tournament, and then we're going to think it's coming home, and then next round, bang, out.
Does anyone want to guess the odds for Ukraine to win that group, by the way? Considering we've all predicted it. Guess the odds.
5-1.
4-1. The Netherlands are 2-5 on to
Yeah.
win
I
that
thought
group.
you were going to say like
Do it.
20-1 the way you're going on. Oh,
Do a
4-1
double.
for
Do a double with Hungary to beat Portugal.
Nah.
To win that group.
That's
to win that
massive.
group,
I'm gonna
and
look
that's
at another group. So
Well, we're going to do a group syndicate, right? That's one of our doubles right there.
Yeah, we're going to do a syndicate. We'll think about Ukraine will have to be in it somewhere.
Wow! Guess what?
Has anyone-
Croatia are 3.5 to 1.
Has anyone got Croatia finishing tops then?
I've
I've
actually got
England winning the group, and I've got Scotland finishing second.
Oh, that's a big call.
Wow, that's huge.
That's me. Yeah, I think Croatia.
That's
wins
for the
group,
fans. That's for
I've got Scotland on 0 points with a -5 goal difference.
Our neighbours across the sea. No way, they're going to do pretty well.
Not across the sea, Chris.
Over the wall.
Oh, just over the wall.
Yeah. Over that wall we need to build.
Yeah.
Do you not genuinely? I actually I'm not sure how Croatia are going to do. And the only reason I've actually gone Scotland again is this home fixture thing. It's just taken hold of me. I was looking today, and I just all their games are at home. They have to. And after that story about the beard, story about the beard, then it's got to be.
Well, the one thing you can be certain of is that COVID is going to have an impact on this tournament. We don't know how yet. We don't know what, but it is going to have an impact, and there's going to be some shocks and surprises. And it might be that games get moved. Someone can no longer have a home game. Half their team's gone down injured. Spain still have to play their under-21s. God knows what. But something is definitely going to happen that we don't know about yet. You can't predict. That I think is going to have a big impact.
Who you lot got?
Well, in that group,
Group D, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, England and Croatia, obviously 1 and 2. The one thing I'd say about Czech Republic, I don't think they're a great team. I mean, they've got Ziyech and they've got Kufal, and funnily enough, I know we'll come on to it later about the potential young superstars or ones to watch. There is somebody in the Czech team. Unfortunately, he's probably not going to play, which is weird. But there is somebody in the Czech team who is an unbelievable player. He's 18. West Ham are trying to sign him. Klozek, he's called, Lojek, and he is unbelievable. He scored 15 goals in 19 games, top goal scorer for Sparta Prague. This season just gone.
He has got the best name for us chant.
But he is an unbelievable player. I mean, this guy can do it. He's tall, he can header. He used to play on the wing. He's fast. He's a poacher. This guy is a serious baller. And at 18, he's already dominating that league. And I don't know why. I think the manager's a bit old school, and he doesn't seem to be starting him in the friendlies or starting him in the games. He doesn't have much international experience. But if he gets on the pitch, he could do something. And we might even see him against England. He is a really good player. But outside of that, I'm not a big fan of this Czech team.
No. Group E, we've got Poland, Slovakia, Spain, Sweden. I've gone for Spain to win the group, and I've gone for Slovakia second.
Oh, I've gone Sweden.
Yeah.
I've gone Poland.
I've gone Poland.
There you go. Look at that. Across the board.
Does that mean this is the most wide open group going then?
Well, the way it depends. If you're asking Mark, boy, Group F is the most wide open. I think.
I don't.
He's got Hungary coming second. Nuts.
The thing with Spain, so we're already seeing it, right? Spain, half their team have had to isolate. They've had to play their under-21s this week in their friendlies, which has caused all sorts of mayhem. Hopefully they'll be back. Hopefully it'll be fine. Sweden, weirdly, who they're playing in the first game, half of their team have come down with COVID now. So Kulusevski and all their top players. Obviously, Ibrahimovic was meant to come and he's injured, so he's not in the tournament. I think Sweden aren't quite as strong as they probably could have been. And they have their best players who literally just had COVID. And you don't know, right? You don't know what impact that could have. Poland have Lewandowski. And I know he's not got a history of scoring many goals in the European Cup.
It's a Pookie thing.
Well, no, Lewandowski's slightly better than Timo Pukki.
Yeah, I think Lewandowski's a bit of a different kettle of fish to Timo Pukki, to be fair.
Also, Lewandowski plays... the thing with Bayern is that you're in a team where you get so many chances. He's got such quality around him. He doesn't have that with Poland. He plays slightly deeper. He has to come, he's only scored 2 goals in the championships before for Poland. That says it all. This is a man that scores 40 goals a season for fun. He's only scored 2 goals in the championships. So I think...
I wonder if they'll play a 4-4-2 with him and Milik up front, because I think Milik's a pretty good player as well.
Maybe, but I do think I think the reason this group is quite wide open, none of us can pick, is because actually there's a lot going on off the pitch to do with these teams that is pretty hard to call. On paper, Spain wipe the floor with this group. They should do. But I think anyway, Sweden, Poland, Slovakia could all give each other a good game. So who knows?
Yeah.
Well, one of us. The good thing is one of us are going to be right.
Lobotka of Slovakia as well. He's a really good player.
Then the last group, the so-called group of death, according to everyone else except Mark Williams, France, Germany, Hungary, Portugal. I've gone for France to win, and I wish I didn't write it. I've written it down earlier, and I really want to change my mind. Am I allowed to change my mind, even though I wrote it earlier?
Yeah.
Who's gonna know if you hadn't said anything?
Jesus might know. All right, I'm going to change it. I did have Germany, but I'm going to change it to Portugal. I've just been thinking about it. Mark's convinced me, so yeah, I'll put them second. So France and Portugal. That's what I'm going to go for.
I've got Germany top, France second, Portugal third, Hungary bottom.
Rory.
France, Portugal, Hungary, and Germany both with a donut.
You lot are going to be surprised.
Nil point for the Germans and the Hungarians.
How? That's impossible.
That's impossible.
Oh yeah,
Hungary
sorry,
have to play
1 point. Sorry, 1 point each for both of them. So I reckon it'll draw.
So more like a yum yum, not a donut.
More like a yum yum, not a donut. Yeah, I don't know what I was saying there. You can tell I didn't do my results earlier. Yeah, I think Portugal. Although the interesting thing will be if France fails to win their first game, I wonder how much their odds go out to, because they're like 4.5 to 1 at the minute. I wonder if they go to 6, 7, 8. If they let's say that their first game is against Germany. Portugal play Hungary first. If that ends in a draw and Portugal batter Hungary, I wonder if France's odds go out a little bit.
Yeah, because France aren't known for being like fast starters. They're not.
No.
I've got Germany beating France and then Portugal, Hungary drawing, and then I have with Germany. They're the opposite. If they win they'll improve, and I have Germany beating Hungary quite comfortably in the last game, where Portugal have then something to play for, and I think they could nick a draw against.
Can I ask, Mark, who in this Hungary team is good? Like who is going to be scoring these goals against these top European teams?
See, I'm a bit different. I look at their form. I've been looking at Hungary's like warm-up games. I don't look at individual players. Like I look at Hungary. I see how they qualified. I look at their form coming in, how they played in the friendlies. So I don't know their team, but I know their results.
Yeah, but they played their friendlies. They played Cyprus, San Marino. They drew with Ireland. They couldn't score against Ireland. They only just beat Cyprus. Also, the games in the games before that when they had Szoboszlai, who's their like unbelievable talisman, and he's gone home injured. He's the man. Like he's the one that does everything in that team. It's like when you're a kid in school, you take the corners, you take the pens, he's the guy.
So, not scoring against Ireland is because Ireland are terrible and they just defend for their lives. So I only look at games that matter. So in the games that matter, they drew 3-3 with Poland and had 10 men. They beat Turkey. They drew with Serbia, beat Iceland. Like they're no mugs. This team.
They got a red card in the 95th minute. That's not drawing with 10 men.
They drew with 10 men.
That's all that matters.
I think on Football Manager, when a team beat you 3-0 and they have a man sent off in the 93rd minute, they go, "Yeah, well,
we had 10 men, didn't we?
Rory Duffy's team lose to 10 men." No, I didn't. Really good.
Like I told you, they played those games. They won those games because of him. Because of Szoboszlai. They don't have it now, and I just I don't.
You watch those games, yeah?
Honestly, when
that's the same thing, Mark. That's the same thing. We got
no. But I look at the form, but I won't be like, oh, it's because of one player. That's the difference. I don't look at players. This is why.
He's got the stats.
What I will say, Szoboszlai is a good player, but we're not talking about we're talking about a really good player here, but we're not talking like Zidane. But when you're playing the San Marinos and the Andorras, and he's the man dominating the game, that's why.
But when we play five-a-side football, Mark dominates the game. He's our talisman. Does that mean he's going to go out there and be winning Euros? Do you know what I mean?
No, but if Mark's not in our team, have we got a better or worse chance of winning that five-a-side next week? That's the point here.
No, but I feel like
I'll just caveat that by saying I've never played five-a-side with anyone on this chat.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, but it's like.
Whose fault is that?
But this is the difference between our views. Like you would look at Finland and be like, "Oh, Pookie, Finland," and I'm like, Finland are awful. They're terrible. It don't matter
I
if they've
said
got
they're the
Pukki.
worst team. Finland are the worst team in it.
But
sure.
Hungary don't have a Pukki, but the form suggests that actually there's a team there. Like they might not have that individual player, and I think that's the difference. So it's like, what do I see? I see Hungary in big games like in the big qualifiers have done well. So like I think at home to Portugal, them to get a result is not unheard of. Like
Mark's ones to watch. Hungary. Very good. Who's your young player of the tournament then? Because I don't know, because if Mbappe's my player of the tournament, can he still be my young player of the tournament at the age of 17 3/4?
I was looking at sort of like under 20s as if it's an up and comer you've not heard of.
No under 20 is going to start. No one under 20 is going to start.
Yeah, they're not going to.
Well, I disagree with that.
Only because you want to make your point, but carry on.
Well, Pedri is one of the first names on the Spanish sheet.
So this is where it's annoying because we said it in our chat, and I'm like, it almost put me off saying Ferran Torres as the young player. I think he'll be the young player. Like I think he'll be the one getting the goals for Spain, and let's face it, goals are what gets the headlines. So
how old's Ferran Torres? Are you 22?
He's young enough that I thought.
How old's Ruben Dias? Is 23 because he can still go.
Nah, he's been 23 for ages. He's got to be at least 25.
he's 21.
It's tough looking at a 23-year-old thinking, "Oh, he'll bang me up when he look at him wedged that."
So yeah, Ferran Torres is 21. So I say that's still young enough.
Yeah,
to count,
21's there.
21, I'll give you that. Yeah,
I've gone João Felix.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, because he's been playing under like restricted Diego Simeone tactics, being stuck out on the left in a 4-4-2 or playing up front. I feel like this could be the chance for him to play with the shackles off, be given a bit of freedom, getting pushed right up next to Ronaldo. You know, great players play well with other great players. When he's got Bruno, Ronaldo, etc., around him, I think this could be the tournament where he breaks out, as they say in America.
So no one's picking Foden with his new Gaza Barnett.
Well, yeah, the Stockport Gaza. I mean, come on.
I just leaving England out of everything.
Yeah. And also,
we enjoy England.
We see so much of Foden that it's hard to think of him as a young player. He's been playing for about 4 years on and off.
Well, he's also 21. He's the same age as Ferran Torres, right?
He only started playing for City in November.
Yeah.
he weren't playing before then.
Does anyone else remember him playing in a charity shield? Community shield, as it's now called, like about 4 years ago. And everyone going, this is it. This kid's going to play now. And then he seemed to spend another 2 years on the bench. And then Guardiola came out and said he was the best player he'd ever seen. And we all got carried away. But yeah, no Foden for me.
I think we're pretty much there, innit? Unless you want to talk about something else.
No.
Top scorer.
Hey? Oh, top
I
scorer.
already said my one.
I'll just give it to Kane.
Just give it to him.
Well, mine's Lukaku.
Well, I just don't know how. Honestly, I mean, you know, you lot watch more international football, but I think I'm pretty aware of all the strikers. But I think it'll be similar to the same situation as last time. You know, he's probably going to get most of the shots, all the penalties. I don't see why he's not going to repeat and doing the same thing. And I do think that England's going to have an okay tournament. I don't know if they're going to win it. And the only person that's probably going to score is for England is Kane. So I'll just go for that again.
Kane's not
It's
bad.
a good shout.
Either.
Annoyingly, Lukaku and Kane are by far away the favourites, I think, to be top goal scorers.
Right, do you want to know what I've backed?
You've gone for Lewandowski.
Immobile.
I've gone for Immobile, just because I think he could explode. Now, there's every match.
You can be top goal scorer with like 4 goals if the tournament.
Yeah.
Who was the top goal scorer in 2016?
I'll put it out there that Immobile will either score 4 goals or more or none. Like that, there's no middle ground. There's no way he has an all right tournament and scores.
No
2,
1,
right?
2 or 3. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll score either 4 or more or none. There's no middle ground with this guy. But if he hits form, he could be an absolute beast. So yeah, I've got him, and then I've got Yaremchuk as my outsider because 80-1, and Ukraine's main focal point. And it looks like I reckon he'll get out of the group and maybe win a knockout game. So he could play 5 games. So yeah,
Dan, you got Timo Pukki?
Yeah, sure. No, I've gone for the man that won the top goal scorer in Euro 2016. I've gone for Antoine Griezmann.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if France are going to be one of the teams that go on further than most, then absolutely got a shout. So, yeah. That's it. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll
Yeah.
be doing reaction videos as well throughout the tournament. Some of
We
the good
will
games.
be. Yep, said that we'll be doing our reaction videos. We'll be doing maybe some more previews, although we'll see about that once my internet starts working proper. So all right, lovely. We've not got no game, so we'll go straight to front three, back four. I'll go first because my internet's about to go, and actually that's actually my back four. My stupid internet, Virgin Media, friggin'. I don't know what to say. My mum told me not to go for them. I went for them. This pod's gonna cost me about £1,000, if not. But it's all for the cause. We'll just go.
Right, you've won that in bet
In
last week, so you'll be all right.
I have. I am up a healthy amount. And that was going to be my front three, but I've had to put that to the background because everyone is second place to my mum. She's in my front three. It's her 70th birthday today. Happy birthday, Maureen.
Birthday.
Yeah, this is
Happy
a shout
birthday,
out
Maureen.
to all the single mums. But
Same day as
unfortunately,
my aunt's birthday.
oh, happy birthday! Was it Big Chris?
Chris and Carmel.
Chris and Carmel, twins, exactly. And my mum's a twin too. Look at that. So I'll best give Mudgy a shout out too. But yeah, no, it's my mum's 70th birthday. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm a loud and proud card carrying mummy's boy, and I have no shame about it. She is easily the most important person to me. You lot know that I've been going through some alterations to my lifestyle the last few weeks or months, and without her, it wouldn't have been as easy. So yeah, she's just an absolute superstar. The most important person, single mother, brought up 4 boys, powerful 4'11" monster. She started to calm down a bit in her old age, but yeah, no, just a wonderful, wonderful woman. And yeah, shout out to Mum.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I know she scares the shit out of you boys, doesn't she?
No comment.
I remember. Well,
Yeah.
Ollie, do you remember when you came over one time? Innit? Remember that?
Yeah, that story's for off air. But yeah.
No. What did she
Mum,
do? Remember?
She scared the life out of me. It was one of the first times. It was a few years ago. One of the first times I ever came around for Chris. Parked up my car, knocked at the door. She answered, and I was like, "You all right? Is Chris there?" And she goes, "Yeah," and just stood there. And she went, "And you are?" I went, "What?" And she went, "And?" I stood there for about 30 seconds. And it got really awkward. And then she just cracked a laugh and went, "Come in." Yeah, happy birthday, Maureen.
Yeah, the woman that said that I can't sit next to Mark in English class because we were getting in too much trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, good woman, good girl. Good girl she is. Who wants to go next? Who wants to try and follow that up?
I'll try, but you know, nothing's more important than our mum's birthday. So I'll do my front three first. My front three is Mark, James, Williams.
Ooh.
So I'm going to take you back.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what this is going to be. I'm going to take you back to Saturday.
Legend of the game.
Me and Christopher Alley are sitting there waiting for Mark, as we do. He plays golf now. He's fully embracing middle age, and he's taken up golf. We're sitting there watching some form of rugby, I think it was, having a chat and having a couple of ice cold beer and Moretti's out of Chris's new fridge. And we're waiting for Mark. Mark bowls in about 3:30, and he goes, "Oh, the Epsom Derby's on at 4. I've had a tip, or 4:30. Do you want it?" And we said, "Well, yeah, obviously we want your tip." The tip was a 50-1 shot. I thought, you know, Mark and his family, especially his dad, have a history of roping tips. There's a story from Ascot a couple of years ago.
Your cousin's sister's barber's boyfriend's.
Yeah. I once after a few Prosecco's whacked 50 quid on a tip because Mark's dad convinced me it was a cert, but what I didn't realise is he drunk more Prosecco than I had. Anyway, Mark walked in, gives us this tip, and it romps home. Like, it didn't just win, it romped home. 50-1. Let's just say between the three of us on that horse, we cleared about £1,000 on Saturday. Unfortunately, not me. I think I only had like £3 each way or something, so I only got about 150 quid. But yeah, pour one out, as he says, for Mark Williams, because you paid for a night out.
I died.
Fucking killed him. But that was the last we heard of him.
Yeah.
Drunk
Yeah,
himself
Pop a bottle for him.
Pop a bottle. Don't we pour one out?
Yeah.
Can we only pour one out for people that are dead?
Yes. Yes.
Fair play.
Did you never know what that meant?
Pour one. I thought it was just like raise a glass. I didn't realise it was like.
Raise a glass would have made more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was only for death. But yeah, pour one out for me on Sunday morning because of that winning as well. Front three is Mark. My back four is me. First of all, I threw up. That's my dog in the background. First of all, I threw up over my brand new Air Forces on Saturday night. So that was a bad one. And then on Monday morning, for those of you that don't know, I started a new job about 4 weeks ago, but I've been working from home. This week was my first week in the office. So I've gone in, I've met my new boss, I've been given my staff pass on Monday. And I signed a thing saying that if you forget your staff pass, you have to go home and get a new one. There's no temporary staff passes. So this is on the Monday. Bear in mind, I work at Heathrow Airport and live just by Enfield in North London. So we're talking about a good 45-minute drive. Tuesday, I turn up to work as I'm driving in the gates, realise I've lost my staff pass. Now, I've been working for nearly 10 years since leaving uni, and I've never once forgotten a staff pass until Tuesday. But I had to go with my tail between my legs to my new boss, and it was only the second time I met them and say, by the way, I've forgotten my staff pass. Luckily, she didn't make me go home, but I felt like an absolute knob on my second day in my new job. So yes, that is my back four.
Nightmare.
Absolute mare.
Mark.
All right, let's go.
Put yourself on mute.
Yes. Yeah.
So my back four is Robertson's favourite choice of drink. Danny sounded like he liked it. I've got a few in the fridge, and it's Brewdog. A load of their staff have come out and said the working environment is toxic. A load of them have come together. They've set up an account called Punks with Purpose, and this isn't the first time. Brewdog have a history of mistreating their staff, and Brewdog have said they're sorry and they'll look to learn from it. So there's hope, but yeah, sounds like they're created quite a toxic environment. So just not toxicating.
I hear Amazon are hiring.
Yeah, so maybe Andy Robertson should have thought of that before his choice of beer. But no, I do like a Brewdog, so hopefully they sort that out because I don't want to feel guilty while drinking my beer. So
that's not going to happen.
So that my front three is the sun. So I don't know, any of you take a look out today and see the eclipse that occurred?
Yeah,
so,
I saw a total eclipse.
It was actually cloudy, so I couldn't see it. So it was popped my head out at 11. It was cloudy, so I was like, oh yeah, there's no chance of seeing it here. Why is it in my front three? Because these eclipses, they used to be rare, but now they shall be rare no more because China have created their own sun. So I don't know if any of you've seen, but China have made an artificial sun, which is 6 times hotter than the real sun. So
no, you are joking.
We're fucked. We are fucked.
Where is it?
China.
Where?
It can't be 6 times hotter than the real sun because it will burn everything.
Yeah. So they've created. Look it up. They've created an artificial sun 6 times hotter than the real sun. They're saying this could be permanent, renewable, unlimited energy if it works.
But that thing's just a rocket they've sent in the sky, telling everyone it's a sun waiting to come down on us all.
It's just a fusion reactor. It's just a reactor, right? So it's just they're just recreating what the sun does. It's hydrogen fusion.
Yeah, but at a scale of 6 times what the sun does. So
160 million degrees Celsius. Jesus, that's hot.
You'll get a tan with that.
Yeah, roast your egg for that. God.
Factor 50 plus.
This is how we're going to die, isn't it? We're not going to die we're going to die from some stupid invention that wipes ourselves up.
They couldn't keep the bloody virus in the lab, could they? So God knows if they can keep the sun.
It's going to be like a hadron collider.
Danny, we'll have none of that racism on this podcast. I'll have you.
But if they never watched Batman, like the whole point of the Dark Knight was they built this renewable energy resource and then Bane turned it into a bomb. That's it's just you can't learn. They need to read more comic books.
Yeah.
anyway.
Danny, finish this segment.
You'll be pleased, well, Chris won't, but the rest will, to know I've been feeling very positive this week. I've been taking Chris's advice on England, thinking positively. And for that reason, I have about 10 front threes and couldn't find a single thing that was going wrong in the world this week. So I decided I was just going to tell you my positive front threes. One of my favourite things that I've seen this week. Did anyone see Bielsa? I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, actually, training the 11-year-old kids. So we all know Bielsa is obsessed with football. We all know that he can't go a single day without watching it, playing it, coaching it. He decided, he put his Leeds top and his Leeds shorts on. He wandered down to the local kids club and he took a training session with a local 11-a-side group of 11-year-olds. But the best thing is he turned up and he went, right, murder ball, everyone, go. Which is where it's like non-stop, no refs, no ball's not allowed out, constant running. He went in and apparently the kids absolutely loved it. But the guy just loves football. And I love how many Premier League managers just wander down to their local club and go, oh, do you want any coaching? I'll come in and I'll help. What a hero.
So Edu sat on a beach drinking pina colada.
Exactly. So big shout out to Bielsa. I have no idea what he's going to do through this Euros because he needs to be watching and doing something in football every day. My other front three that I really like this week is Lazio fans. So I don't know if you saw the news that Maurizio Sarri has a job again. He's been announced as the Lazio boss, taking over from Inzaghi. But you can always trust Lazio to bring a little humour to things. So Lazio announced his arrival with a tweet that was simply a cigarette emoji, which I thought was a nice touch. And the fans then followed that up by vandalising a mural that had just been put up in Rome. So there's a mural of Mourinho that they've drawn, and he's on a moped coming into Rome. And so instead they've put Sarri's head, and he's blowing a cigarette smoke all over Mourinho, and they've just basically scratched about the picture. And so a big fan of Lazio fans finding ways to celebrate their new manager. And then the final one that was really positive this week, although it's from the beginning of the week, is Joel Glazer, would you believe it or not? For the first time in 16 years, he has engaged with fans. He has spoken to them in a fan forum last week. He has admitted he's got it wrong. He's committed to improving the club. And most importantly, he is going to be allowing partial fan ownership, he says. So a fan share scheme is going to be set up. In his words, I want the fans to be the 7th Glazer. I did not know there were 6 others, but apparently there are. So good talk
is buy a ticket and you have invested in this club.
Yeah, so good talk. Now let's see if he actually turns it into action. But that's 16 years of silence. He's got some making up to do. But fair play, he has put his money where his mouth is and said, we got it wrong. We're going to listen now. I'm going to do this properly. He talked about all the investment that's going to go back into the training facilities, the youth team, all of that kind of stuff. So hopefully they've turned a corner and they've listened, and turns out all you needed was some fan protests. So who knew that worked?
That is the definition of All Talk FC right there.
Yep. There you go, that's my news.
Right.
There you go.
Should we go? We've got a busy week. Who's jumping on for the review for the reaction videos tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be there. Right. So, all good. Looking forward to the Euros. Come on, England. I believe in you. It's coming home. But just in case, I've left my tag on my shirt.
Yeah.
All right. See you next week or see you whenever. See you throughout the Euros. All right.
Bye.
Bye.